Díomh Cordia. Hello everybody, agus Fáilte Rash, welcome back. Now as you can see behind me, I've finally finished my extended dining table, which is now a fixed 6-seater dining table. So let's have a quick look. What I've done in this case is the length remained the same for the closed extended dining table, if you get my drift, but I've narrowed the width into a proportion of 1:1.25, which is termed the silver ratio. So that gives it a good length to width ratio, so it looks good to the eye. That's the first thing I did with the top, and only thing I did with the top. Split it apart, of course, get the boards flat again, rejointed it, and you get a full surface then that's literally brand new. Same thing done to the underside as well, just to have it nicely tidied up. I've cleaned down the rails, as you can see here. I've cleaned down the legs, and these are the original Elim rails that you have seen, and there's a veneer on the front of them. I had to add on another little bit of mahogany on the end here, and then this here is what's called a cock bead, which is part that ran around the leg here like that, and that's extended on as well. So that's new underneath here. Clean the bulbous legs down as well, and then because we only had 3 casters, we decided, and one of them was damaged actually, we decided that instead of the caster we would produce a new little portion of leg to go down here, as you can see. So the little portion of leg that's there is exactly the same height as the caster, which in this case is 95mm. And the waste that came off from the width of the top was rejointed back again, and then I jointed them and put them back on the lathe and spun them down to give me that shape. So you can see the continuum now for the leg, which is exactly the same height as the original table, which is 750. So they were all cleaned down then, and the only other thing to mention there then as regards to construction was these guys, which I've mentioned already. These are buttons with a screw in it, and they slot into the rail here from the inside, and they're screwed then up to the top, and that's what holds the top in position. And the whole purpose of that is that the top, the boards here are joined in their width. In other words, the grain runs in that direction, so it'll expand and contract in this direction here, and the buttons allow for that expansion, that contraction. So that would happen with solid wood tops, and this is one again that we have here. So that's the mahogany that we had. It's Utility, and just to give you a full view of the table here, that's it. It's in entirety, so it's just slightly slack of 5 feet. I think it's 46.5 inches wide. So you got a lovely silver proportion on that there. The finish that's on it is a 2-pack finish, so it's very hard, 10% sheen. And one other final thing, when you be working with antiques like this and old work, in order to continue its provenance, to show that there was something done with an old table made into something new, what I've done is this. Where the winding mechanism was here for opening and closing the old table, I've filled the hole here with a modern piece of mahogany, a bit of sapelli, which shows a slightly different tone there, so that anybody looking at this down the line, 50 years time, if it lasts that long, which it should, if it's looked after, and 100 years time, they'll be able to see that and cop that there was a winding mechanism there, that this table was made into something different. It's a new version of the old table, and of course the bulbous legs would give it away anyway. So that's what we have there. That's the final outcome that we have there. I hope you can see it on camera and that the camera is panning around. Come on camera, pan around properly there for me. So a little bit of rock there, to mind that, that's only the uneven floor that I have in my workshop, a little bit of unevenness there. So mahuas vacant, thanks for looking. Tasula gum gomeg nully galling a guiv golair. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas. This piece closes out this year for me, and we'll see you all soon. Slán go fóill. Bye for now.